Welcome to Salute to Education, where every month we show you all the cool, amazing, innovative, and inspirational stuff happening in San Diego schools. We start today's show with a fun example of hands-on learning and one group that brings history to life. Once upon a time, in a land called Escondido, these 7th graders at Bear Valley Middle School are learning about medieval history right before their eyes. Students have been studying the Middle Ages in the classroom for a few weeks, but today the lessons are brought to life.
So it's kind of one thing to read it in a textbook or see a movie about it, but to see it up close and in person gives them that experience that they can draw on later in life.
This fantastical day is brought to life by a group called Chivalry Today. It brings the field trip right to the school.
We think about the Middle Ages as a time of castles and knights in armor and kings and queens, but for most people, life in the Middle Ages was an awful lot like life today.
It's a day when students learn about many different aspects of everyday life in medieval Europe.
Now, does anybody here know what falconry is? By definition, falconry is the use of a trained bird of prey to catch wild quarry.
Coach Ted demonstrates fencing and the rules of the duel.
So what I'm not going to be doing is blocking with the sword. So it's not going to go ching, 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 ching like you see in the movies. Instead, what I'm going to use is my backhand.
A few lucky volunteers try their moves.
Advance. 1, 2.
Then come the serious weapons.
This station is about siege weapons and siege warfare. Warfare was kind of a brutal thing in the Middle Ages. Siege warfare was even more so.
Throwing in a little history.
The ballista was actually built and perfected by the Greeks about 350 BC, long time ago.
And an impressive demonstration.
Now, should I fire the trebuchet? Yeah. You guys want to give me a countdown?
3, 1, 0, go. 1.
Students could taste how average people in the Middle Ages ate.
The role of the baker in medieval society was very important. That's because the key ingredient in every meal for everybody in the Middle Ages is going to be bread.
It's tasty. I like it.
And explore medieval fashion.
So we're going to talk a little bit today about medieval clothing. As a peasant in medieval Europe, you would probably only have 2 outfits at a time. As fashion progresses, one of the things that you'll notice is that men, you go from pants to hose. Hose are the medieval version of the skinny jeans.
A highlight of the day, watching knights in armor compete.
We're going to show you some demonstrations of how knights in armor would have used their swords, would have trained with their swords for a variety of situations.
And learning about the knight's code of honor and chivalry.
But how about if Kyle does something like this?
Yield.
Should Hans kill Kyle now, after he's surrendered? The fact that our soldiers today won't shoot at somebody who is waving a white flag or is raising their hands is the laws of warfare that come right from the rules of chivalry of the Middle Ages. Scorekeepers ready? Skill judge ready? Chivalry judge ready? Lay on! So, chivalry to Kyle, skill and points to Hans, victory to Hans on that fight.
But when they can see something like this up close and see how they were able to make their food and make bread and the type of clothing they wore and how everything had a purpose, and that they were in 500-600 years ago, they were just people like us trying to live and do the best they can like we are today. But it was a very different world. But there's definitely some similarities that carry over to today.
I see the Middle Ages as a little bit different because I kind of understand a little bit better on what they did and how they looked and all that stuff. instead of just like reading out of a textbook. It seemed a lot cooler seeing it in person than actually just reading it.
Kids are often really excited about what they're seeing, getting the chance to see history as more than just names and dates and discussions of battles on a textbook page, really helps them to internalize that, to imagine, hey, what would this be like if I was living back in the Middle Ages or the Renaissance? And I think for a lot of students, it really makes them more connected, more engaged with what they are learning about history when they can really see themselves in the middle of the lesson.
I learned a lot about the weaponry and also how they use the birds of prey and falconry, and I learned just so much from every station here.
Some of them I hope will get a spark to learning about history and to learning that what we have today in our world and our society is kind of a culmination of what humans have been able to do since we've been here, and it piques an interest into what life was like then and how some things are similar today.
Lessons not only about life in the past, but how to live your life today.
I learned that it was not only about honor, but also about trying to do your best, and how kind of connected it is, even though we're like two separate worlds, that there are still little connections that kind of pull us together.
This is what medieval knights wrote about a great deal, is understanding that you can say honorable things, you can claim to be truthful and decent and ethical all you want, but it's what you do that defines your code. And so, every day you've got to work to live up to the code that you want to follow to make yourself the honorable individual that people want to see in you.
Looks like a fun day. You can find more information about Chivalry today and the programs they offer on our website, 4sd.com, on the Salute to Education page. We'll be right back.
This segment is brought to you by the University of San Diego, a proud sponsor of Salute to Education.